Hello, Ijao Martins, licensed marriage and family therapist, couples therapist. Well, let's continue with our talks on those parts that's getting triggered by your partner's ADHD symptoms. So today I want to talk about a part that is very prevalent for a lot of professionals in the helping profession, like the doctors, coaches, therapists, and anybody who will love to solve problems. They tend to be very intellectual. I'm not saying if you are one of those professionals, you definitely have a part like this, but it is interesting to make you think about why you choose the profession that you choose. Does it come from a place that I want to help people? I want to reduce suffering from people. I want to fix certain things or a system so people suffer less or benefit those people. That I love problem solve. If that is you, listen on. But today's video is really dedicated to those who are in a relationship with someone with ADHD and they really feel this urge to problem solve and solve the problem in their relationships or to fix their partner's ADHD. Um, like being very naggy about your partner's ADHD medication or any strategies the therapist has prescribed for your partner with ADHD to use. Or maybe pressuring your partner with ADHD to get into therapy when they haven't received any support yet. Or you keep track of your partner's ADHD symptoms and progress secretly, or not that secretly, very overtly. All of those are signs that you might have a part that belongs to the doctor savior part that's being activated, and you decide to make your partner with ADHD the identified patient that needs to be fixed. And so the rationale in you behind this could be, well, you're the problem. Only if we can fix you as the problem, our relationship has no problem. Do you notice that the dynamic when you're in that part between you and your partner, you're actually you are a one up with your partner. You're above them as the fixer, the problem solver, like the doctor, the savior. As for you are actually superior. You know better than your partner with ADHD about their ADHD symptoms and how to solve that issues. Not talking about ADHD is not a problem to solve. It is a brain structure issue that cannot be altered. I don't think there's any even surgery where brainwave or laser treatment has been proved to be effective for people with ADHD as their brain structure is different from a neurotypical brain. So what are your potential beliefs when you're in this doctor or savior role? You could be thinking, well, the person who's being identified, volunteered as the identified patient is not perfect. And as a savior or doctor, if you look within, you may have this belief that I am not okay with who you are as a person. You need to improve and be better, either for me or for our relationship. So there's a lot of strength in coming from people with this strong part of a doctor and savior. You're probably very good at identifying issues and challenges and problems and design steps to follow through to solve them. You tend to be action oriented, right? And that makes a lot of people very good doctors, lawyers, and therapists. But what is being ignored is that you're actually externalizing this issue and then you are putting your energy outside of you towards this identified patient that you're not looking within. So energetically, the energy moving outward and there is no exchange. It's a one-way energy spent. So what happens? You probably can guess. With time, the person who's dominating the doctor and savior role may feel exhausted and have this fatigue, burnt out in the relationship. that they have no more to give, and they get very frustrated and emotion-wise, right? Irritation, frustration, anger, and this sense of righteousness. Well, how come I already show you the way and you're not doing it? How come you're not progressing fast enough? How come you're not the way I want you to be? Not yet. So let's get into our body and to have a sense of what it's like when you're in this part, when this part is really taking you over. I invite you to turn inside with me, press your feet onto the floor, and let your sits bone rest in the seat. And breathe rhythmically and notice what's happening when you can imagine an incident when you're in this part. When you are thinking your partner with ADHD has this and that issue and they're not doing that right, and you really want to change them, you really want to fix them. You may notice a general tone of your body is very rigid. I notice my neck gets very stiff and there's a tension in my eyes as I'm focusing to solve a problem. And I notice there's a belt of tension around my temple, my forehead, and make it tight. And sometimes if you think too hard and you're really focusing on fixing people, you may notice you have a headache, you have migraines, and your shoulders and neck are so tight, it's hard to relax, like it's a little bit lifted up and squared. And you may notice your breathing is very shallow. Well, it's hard to breathe smoothly and with a lot of room when everything here is so tight. So this is a very uncomfortable place to hold long-term wise. You can imagine what happens to your body and to your emotional well-being if you're holding this pose habitually ever since you have awareness. So how to let go of this part and get back into yourself where you have more room and spaciousness? Well, I think a good thing is to start leaning back and relax into the seat. Let your back being supported. Okay? And notice what it's like when your shoulders, you can, it's really exactly the movement of lifting it up and moving forward and tensing up. And then roll it back and let it just sit where it's supposed to be. And put one hand behind your head and gently lift up your little bit so you notice your chin naturally tuck a little bit and give you more room in the back of your head and your neck. And if you're holding a lot of tension in your jaw, you may also just open your mouth slightly and gently slide it left to right. Or you can use your tongue to touch different side of the inside of your mouth. It's really hard to tighten your jaw when you do that. I notice when I'm doing anything concentrating on some somatic movement, like learning a choreo, dance choreo, or doing some physical to do a project, I tend to stick my tongue out a little bit. And notice when that happens, my jaws are relaxed, and it's very hard to hold any tension there or bite down or bite your tongue. So you may try that or stick your tongue to the top and the back of your roof of the mouth and breathe deeply there and notice there's a hollowing sound, a soothing hollowing sound when you do that. Yeah, and I'm feeling my face relaxing when I'm doing that. And with your eyes, you either can do some palming, or you can let the eyes of the eyeballs rest in the socket of your eyes and just like really be the back of your head. Yes, I know it's a very subtle little minor muscles you don't generally pay attention to, but it's there. If you practice, you are able to actually change your vision. You let your eyes rest in the socket deeply, and then your vision broadens. And you can either touch your forehead and give it some support and let it relax, or if you're inclined to, you can imagine your third eye being relaxed, just like your normal eyes. Around here, when you notice there's more space around your face, your neck, and your shoulder, You may notice your thinking and your feeling shift as well. For me, I notice I'm more curious and I'm calmer and I have this sense of acceptance of imperfection. That's right. If you were to have an affirmation for this part, the doctor savior part, whenever it's getting activated, and you want to remind it to sit back and relax, you can say, put a hand on wherever it feels right for you. I accept the imperfection of myself, my loved one, the world. I am okay and all is well. Thank you for watching this, and we'll be talking about the caregiver part next time, which has some similarity with the doctor savior, but I will tell you more about the difference and how to acknowledge its presence and how to go back to yourself and the affirmation that goes with that. See you next time. Bye bye.